Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Let's turn my microphone on. Hey, how are we doing out there today? All the beautiful people of the world, I say it's me and you. It's oh so true. Right here together on Operation Status Quo. That doesn't rhyme. It doesn't rhyme at the end, but that's okay. We don't have to rhyme every time. I just rhyme there. We don't have to rhyme every time. We rhyme. Don't have to rhyme every time. Rhyme time. Rhyme time. Hey-o. It's time to rhyme. I want to rhyme. Hold on a second. I didn't lower my music either. What the frick is going on? Can you tell I haven't been here in a few days? So I guess I have a little extra pumped up energy, you know. So I'm feeling a little lively today. So hopefully you guys can tolerate that. We're going to go through a couple quick things before we get into everything. First of all, I am Pete Palma. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. If you haven't been here before, what the hell have you been waiting for? And I'm sorry. I'm also sorry that you have nothing else to do. No, honestly. You know I always appreciate your time. Heyo. All right, so I am Pete Palma. I am your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, most importantly, we learn to create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So what are you doing out there right now to create your own flow of quo and keep that joy flowing in your heart, especially as we move into the Christmas season and such after Thanksgiving, and now we're, into the crux of all the real mania that's about to ensue. Keep yourselves calm, cool, collected, and always live from your heart and do what's right for you, people. We don't have to answer to anybody. I should just leave it here. We don't have to answer to anybody. Be a nice person, but be honest with yourself and do what's right for you, and then you move forward from there. And it's as simple as that. That's really what Operation Status Quo is all about. So a few quick things before we get into today's topic. First, and this is totally random. This actually just happened. I just run around the corner to the store real quick before I came back and did the show here. And there's these two homeless people that are always in the parking lot. And I don't know. This thought just went through my head. Like they're sitting there, and with a little sign. I understand. And and I feel like and I can see as each person drives past them, like they're looking to make the eye contact and everything. And I just say to myself, of course it's horrible that anyone is homeless. I don't know their particular situation or what, so it's not a criticism in any capacity of that. But it's just the way when I thought about it, like, they're sitting there, like really kind of doing nothing and like holding a sign, and then like you got to feel guilty if you don't give them something. I don't want to get into all of it, like, 'cause I don't want to be rude towards like the homeless and the situation and the plight and everything. But I'm saying, like, well, maybe all the effort you're putting in to sit there and you wrote up the sign, you're staring at people. You got some kind of drive, right? Just do something, maybe. Just do something. Heyo. No one should be homeless. You know how I believe our whole system is structured to keep people down, and that's why we have this disparity and such. We see situations like that because of the way of the confines of our monetary system and the 3D paradigm, and where our world is created, the corporate structures, our government, everything that's really kind of meant to throw people off their best game, and unfortunately some people end up in that situation. But I guess I just thought the main thing I thought about that was, my gosh, like, you come in, they're holding the sign, and then they're staring at you, and I'm just thinking, like, but you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there. It's like, why do I got to feel guilty? But I'm not criticizing. I just took that as, guys, if you're here with me, my brain goes all over the place. So we have lots of potential thoughts that come through. So anyway, that has nothing to do with anything about what I'm talking about today. So it was one of those quick quips that popped into my head as I was driving today, and thought I would share because it's fresh on my brain. Second, quickly, I just wanted to mention regarding the music, still working on stuff like that. I just want to remind people out there, if you haven't checked out, there's another YouTube page. It's just called Pete Palma. If you just go Pete Palma, you'll find my YouTube page with the music. I've been posting videos. If you guys follow along on here, you see I've been posting some videos of me with the guitar and such. And, so just trying to, continue to branch out with that. It's a fun thing for me. I don't, guys, I tell you all the time, I don't take anything over the top serious. I don't think I'm some whatever. It's just fun to play. I like to share. I enjoy, and it just feels good. So, what I'm saying? It's like, we don't have to make it like very serious. It's not like trying to be some superstar, rock star, but I hope you enjoy out there. So I'm always appreciative of any feedback. But if you go to my website, petepalma.com, you can still find the two songs that are released, Into the Sea and All I Know. They're still out there. They're on SoundCloud. They're on Apple Music. They're on Spotify. They're on whatever you do to find your music. They're out there. So please support or give it a listen if you haven't, and check it out. The full album will be coming out in the spring. So got 8 more songs that are coming, and I'm really happy with those. Each one has gotten better as I've worked through this and been learning myself, and it's really been a fun experience. So I'm excited to share the rest of that work with you. But I'm also trying to do more on social media, so you can follow the Facebook and the Instagram. I got to tell you, I should do a whole show about that at some point, because I get so annoyed, to do the social media part, because I just find, I don't know, it just seems insincere in certain regard. I don't feel I'm being insincere by what I'm putting up there, but I just feel that the concept and the way it is, like, you feel like you gotta chase all the time, you gotta put up your next post to make sure people stay engaged with your page, and it's just like it starts to like become. I never really bothered with it before. Now that I'm trying to do it, like even with this show, I put clips of the show on the social media as well. So I just feel like, oh, gotta put up a clip. It becomes like you feel like you're all coked up all the time. So anyway, but that's all that. I just wanted to get those couple announcements out of the way. And now we can get into the show. Heyo. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 30th of November in the good year 2024. And today's program, we're about 7 minutes in. Today's program is entitled The Retirement Requirement. So when I was blessed let me just say how thankful I am this Thanksgiving. I was invited by some friends that I had met when I first moved here to St. Pete. When I first moved to Florida, I moved to the St. Pete area, and I had met this couple there. And they actually moved to an area that's closer to me here. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. But they were kind enough. They invited me over, and I met some new people, and I got to see them as well. Obviously, it was their house. So really a great time. And I was very thankful to spend Thanksgiving with some friends and have a share a meal and have a fun time. So thank you. I'm going to give a little applause for that. I'm very thankful this year. Thanksgiving was really a fun day. I enjoyed myself. I love Thanksgiving, as I mentioned back on the last show. Hey-o. So, long story short, now it's 8 minutes in to get to a topic. I love doing this like this, though. Guys, don't tell me, and don't you think, like, those of you who watch the show, regularly, if you get all the way through it, somebody who gets all the way through it, isn't it kind of fun just to, bounce around, and we don't know what we're saying, and maybe we bring out the tambourine, and maybe we blow a whistle, and then maybe we get then we hear an applause, and then we get the harmonica. All right, here we go. Let's see here. I got a text message. Is this anybody I know? Oh, it's just my mom. I'll get back to her. So the retirement requirement. While I was at this Thanksgiving meal, one of the people I was talking to there mentioned that he recently retired, but he really didn't like being retired. He got into another business that he's working, and he's back to work already. And it just really kind of made me think of how interesting the concept of retirement is in our society. And again, another way of limiting people to be their best, right? Because you build a life where you're going to do a job. Not everybody, right? But this is like the basic parameters of like the normal mainstream 3D life. You're basically going to work a job that maybe is kind of in your skill set, but you don't really like it. In general, you're just trying to make money and survive, and that you're just going to put money away, and then eventually you're going to be 65, whatever age you're going to retire. Maybe retire early in your 50s, whatever. But what's retirement mean? Like, first of all, why do we strive to retire? Like, retire what? Retire to do what? Like, you're just going to putt around all day and do absolutely nothing with your time, watch TV, watch Netflix, catch up on some binge watching, and get down a couple packs of Oreos. You know what I'm trying to say? So Personally, I don't think that we should ever even conceive of retirement per se. Now, I will say that we move on, we transition, we evolve as people through our lives, and maybe we leave one scenario for another. But I would encourage everyone out there, because living your best life means to be involved and active and always using what your skills are to be to participate in the world, right? So it's like, hold on, I did make a couple notes about this. So let me see if I keep my thoughts together. If I say it in the, where the hell's my text message? Here it is. Right, I did say it's a limiting term. It's limiting. Things like retire. It's like retire. Now you retire. So, you're basically doing nothing with the rest of your life. And like I said, life is a constant evolution. Really, what you think about it is, say you learn something from one job, and then after a time you leave that job, but now you've developed more skills from that job that you can compound with skills you've had previously that lead you into another position. I mean, even if you want to talk about like boring stuff, just say like you're a business type person or something. Just say like, I'm sorry, for me that's like, boring, but you evolve into maybe a consultant for a firm that does the same type of business. Like, but not necessarily just like, I just don't like this concept of retire, and that you just you're going to make it, and there's nothing wrong with, like, I consider myself retired all the time. I'm retired from like the mainstream way of life. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you should being retired, you want to retire from the mainstream world. That's a good way to go, but you never actually retire. Like, retire to me, insinuates that, you're just kind of like golfing all day. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I just mean you want to have some more, there has to be some sort of, essence to your life. What's the word? Some sort of meaning, purpose, so something that is like engaging with the energies of the world. That's giving back. There's a give and take of what you put out and what comes back. So I just think personally, retirement, no one should even think that way. You just think of like what's next. Like, personally, if everything didn't happen the way it did with COVID and such, I would probably still be working that horrible job that I worked for the government. I'd still be stuck in that cubicle, miserable, doing crap that I just hate. And I always talk about this, what a blessing COVID was as a catalyst to give people the opportunity to at least think or push them in a direction to do what maybe comes more naturally to their soul or what they want to do. The point I'm trying to make overall is that, the reason we even have the concept of retirement to me is because generally people are doing jobs that aren't really, cohesive or in conjunction, probably is the better way to say it, with their sole purpose, their mission, their own true essence. So essentially, of course you want to retire. You don't even want to retire from the job. You want to get the hell out of this world, completely. So isn't it crazy though, the limiting thought process of our life? It's like, you're just going to work, and then you're just going to quote unquote retire. You hope you can retire if they don't screw the system and take all your money away, which is like, that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic. You work, you're putting all this money away in these places where they say to put your money, like, the mutual funds and all this bullshit of their, financial system. And you're like, oh, my money grew 6%. Oh, my money grew 8%. But in the meantime, in the background, they keep like raising prices on everything all over the place. So, by the time you save X amount of dollars, you can only buy, this much stuff with the same amount of this money. And that's a whole nother story of like where to really, put your money. But what I'm saying is people work all that, put all that, do all that. Then it's like retire, and then nobody knows who they are. And like, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that some people find purpose in themselves, after they get out of that, kind of rat race and such. I think you should, in a way, because you have more opportunity to have a clear head and not be so wrapped up in everything that's going on. I don't know, personally, I just, every time, like I was glad that guy, said, like, he said, I retired, but I can't sit still or whatever. I need to do things. So I'm involved with this other project. And I didn't even get into that conversation in that regard with him, but I thought that's great. I mean, like, why do you want to just do nothing? It's like I'm not saying to do crap that you don't want to do. That's the whole point. So we talk about an operation status quo. We observe life. We understand what's going on in the world. We work with the parameters that are there. We know, but then we make our own choices to do how what's best for us, so that we can live our best lives. And that's what it's really all about. That's what we should be striving for all the time without the worry of what it means to not live within the quote unquote rules that we've been taught we're supposed to live within, even if it means, feeling ostracized in some regards or looked at as a freak. Personally, I've always been looked at as some kind of freak, so I don't have a problem with that. I know, here they come. Everybody always thought I was a little off, a little eccentric. Get that jackhammer out of here. So that's basically what I have for you here today. The retirement requirement, because everybody's thinking about, just getting to retirement, or they got to retire, when they're going to retire. You wouldn't even be thinking retire if you're just doing what comes natural to your soul and living your life, through yourself, because you'd be in line with your soul mission, your purpose. Remember, we are entities beyond the body, right? We chose to be here. We are frequencies of energy. What we choose to align ourselves with is what we will become and what our life will be. So instead of thinking of getting through, get to retirement, and then I can sit there and lay on the couch all day, why not just engage and be, your best self from the beginning? And there is no quote unquote retirement. There's evolution and transitions through periods of life, and you're always building your skill set and utilizing your skill set for the best of humanity, whatever that means. Doesn't have to be anything, some super grand project, but something. I mean, for God's sake, people, do something out there. Ding, 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 ding. Hey-o. All right, so that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo. Feeling a little silly, having a good time on the Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you're having a good time on the Thanksgiving weekend. Don't ever think about retirement. To me, that's always like looking like at putting yourself out to pasture or something. You're always building. It doesn't matter your age. You could be 80 years old and do something brand new. You could still be vibrant in your heart and create a whole new project and live a whole new scenario. There's always opportunity, So just, feel your heart, be your heart, live your heart. Don't put pressure on yourself it is what it is. We got to make our way in this world a little bit, but the more each of us make the choices to do things that align with our soul purpose and live in that regard, the less pressure is out there to live within the confines that have been established, because then more people are living true to their heart and not living to answer to those confines. So thereby releasing us of the confines, thereby giving us a chance to do what we want, thereby, bye-bye. Hey-o. All right, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you so much for your time, as I always do. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. They need the most love of all. I do love you, each and every one of you. I say that as one of those ones. God bless you. God bless you out there. All right. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Operation Status Quo disengaged.